Your soulmate was certain it was over. Then they learned this about you. My beloved child, your soulmate was absolutely certain that your story had reached its final chapter. They had convinced themselves that there was nothing left to discover, nothing left to understand, and nothing left worth holding on to. Day after day, they repeated the same thought inside their mind: it is over. They stopped looking for signs. They stopped expecting surprises. They even tried teaching their heart how to forget your name. But what they did not know was that a truth was moving toward them in complete silence. A truth that would shake everything they believed. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because the moment this information reached them, the confidence they had built around their decisions started cracking in ways they never expected. At first, they tried ignoring it. They told themselves it changed nothing. But deep down, they could already feel something shifting. The certainty they once had was beginning to disappear. And what happened next caught them completely off guard. Out of nowhere, they learned something about you that nobody had explained before. It was not gossip. It was not a rumor. It was something deeper than that. It revealed a side of you they had never truly seen. Suddenly, moments from the past started replaying inside their mind. Conversations they once dismissed began sounding different. Situations they misunderstood suddenly made sense. The more they thought about it, the more uncomfortable they became. Not because the truth was bad, but because it forced them to question everything they thought they knew about you. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because this realization did not bring them peace. It brought them questions. Big questions. Questions they could not escape no matter how hard they tried. They started wondering whether they had walked away too quickly. Whether they had judged certain situations unfairly. Whether the version of you they carried in their mind was incomplete all along. And once those thoughts entered their heart, they refused to leave. Then came the moment that changed everything. Late at night, when the world around them was quiet, they found themselves staring into the darkness, thinking about you again. Not casually. Not briefly. Deeply. For the first time in a very long time, they allowed themselves to consider a possibility they had refused to entertain. What if they were wrong? What if the ending they were so sure about was never the real ending at all? That question hit them harder than they expected. It echoed through every memory, every emotion, every hidden feeling they thought had disappeared. And the more they reflected, the more they realized that the connection between you had never completely vanished. It had only been buried beneath assumptions and misunderstandings. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because right now, while they are trying to process this shocking truth, another realization is beginning to form inside them. A realization so powerful that it could completely change what happens next. And what they discover next is something they never saw coming. A strange feeling followed them everywhere after that night. No matter what they were doing, no matter who they were talking to, their thoughts kept returning to the same place, you. They tried distracting themselves. They tried staying busy. Yet every attempt only seemed to make the questions louder. The truth they had learned was no longer just information. It had become a mirror, forcing them to see the past from an entirely different angle. Suddenly, details they once overlooked started standing out. Tiny moments that seemed meaningless before now carried a completely different meaning. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because the deeper they looked, the more they realized there was a side of your story they had never understood. And that realization was beginning to shake the foundation of everything they believed. What surprised them most was not what they learned about you, it was what they learned about themselves. They began noticing how often they had hidden their true feelings. How many times they had pretended not to care when, deep down, they cared more than they wanted to admit. The walls they built around their heart were starting to crack. Every memory carried a new weight. Every thought seemed connected to a bigger picture they had missed for far too long. They started asking themselves difficult questions. If it was truly over, why were they still thinking about you this much? Why did your presence still feel so close even when you were not there? Why did this new truth refuse to leave their mind? Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because these questions were leading them toward a discovery they never expected to make. And then something happened that completely caught them off guard. While reflecting on everything they had learned, they felt a sudden wave of clarity. It was brief, but powerful. In that moment, they understood something that changed the direction of their thoughts. The connection they had tried so hard to dismiss was not as finished as they claimed. In fact, the more honest they became with themselves, the harder it was to deny what was still inside their heart. That realization brought both excitement and fear. Excitement because it opened a door they thought had been closed forever. Fear because stepping through that door would force them to face emotions they had avoided for a long time. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because what they are about to uncover next will make this realization feel small in comparison. The next truth is closer than they think, and when it arrives, nothing inside them will remain the same. Without warning, the days that followed became impossible for them to ignore. Everywhere they turned, something seemed to remind them of you. A familiar phrase, a random memory, a moment of silence, each one pulled them back into thoughts they were trying so hard to escape. At first, they told themselves it was coincidence. But after it happened again and again, even they could no longer believe that explanation. The truth they had discovered was already changing the way they saw you, but now something even deeper was happening. Their emotions were beginning to catch up with their thoughts. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because what started as curiosity was slowly becoming something much stronger. And the more they resisted it, the stronger it became. One evening, they found themselves revisiting memories they had not touched in a very long time. Memories they once locked away because they believed there was no reason to return to them. But this time felt different. This time, they were seeing those moments through completely new eyes. They began noticing things they had never noticed before. Your patience. Your intentions. The quiet ways you showed care that often went unrecognized. Piece by piece, an entirely different picture started forming in their mind. The version of you they thought they knew was being replaced by a version that felt far more real. And with every realization came a growing sense of regret. Not because of what happened, but because of what they failed to understand when they had the chance. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because this feeling was only the beginning of something much larger. Then came a moment they never expected. A single thought entered their mind and refused to leave. What if the connection between you was never meant to end the way they believed? That question hit them harder than anything else. It followed them into every quiet moment. It echoed through every memory. And the more they sat with it, the more impossible it became to ignore. For the first time, they stopped focusing on why things ended and started wondering what might still be possible. That shift changed everything. The walls they spent so much time building around their heart were no longer protecting them. They were trapping them. And somewhere deep inside, they knew it. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because a realization is approaching that will force them to make a choice they never thought they would have to make. And once that choice appears, there may be no turning back. Just when they thought they had finally sorted out their feelings, something unexpected happened. A new piece of information reached them, and it stopped them in their tracks. It was small on the surface, almost easy to overlook, but its impact was enormous. Suddenly, the story they had been telling themselves for so long no longer felt complete. They realized there were important details they never knew. Important truths they never bothered to ask about. And once those missing pieces started falling into place, everything became harder to ignore. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because this was no longer about memories. This was about reality. And reality was beginning to look very different from what they expected. As the days passed, they noticed a battle taking place inside their own heart. One side told them to keep moving forward and leave everything in the past. The other side kept reminding them of what they had learned about you. Every time they tried pushing those thoughts away, they returned stronger. Every attempt to forget only made them remember more. The connection they once dismissed now felt impossible to explain. They started wondering why your presence still carried so much weight in their life. Why your name could still change their mood. Why a single thought about you could make them stop and reflect for hours. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because the answers they are searching for are much closer than they realize. And when those answers finally arrive, they will force them to face a truth they have avoided for far too long. Then came the realization that changed everything. They finally understood that the reason they could not let go was not because they were trapped in the past. It was because part of their heart never truly left. That realization frightened them more than they expected. It meant the ending they had accepted might not have been an ending at all. It meant the certainty they held on to for so long was built on assumptions rather than understanding. And the moment that truth settled inside them, a powerful shift began. For the first time, they stopped asking whether it was over and started asking what would happen if they gave this connection another chance. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because the answer to that question is already moving toward them. And what happens next will leave them standing at a crossroads they never imagined they would face again. The crossroads appeared sooner than they expected. What made it so difficult was that nobody else could see it. On the outside, everything looked normal. They continued their routine, spoke with the same people, and carried on with their day. But inside, something was changing rapidly. The more they reflected on everything they had learned about you, the more impossible it became to return to the person they were before. A quiet voice inside kept asking the same question: what if this connection deserves one more look? At first, they resisted it. They tried convincing themselves that reopening old emotions would only complicate things. But the question refused to disappear. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because the answer they were searching for was already beginning to reveal itself. Then something happened that caught them completely off guard. They started noticing how often they compared everyone else to you. Not intentionally. It simply happened. A conversation would remind them of something you once said. A moment would remind them of a feeling they only experienced with you. The realization hit hard. They had spent so much time focusing on why things ended that they never stopped to consider why certain memories never faded. And now, with this new understanding about who you truly are, those memories felt more powerful than ever. What frightened them most was how natural it felt. It was as if their heart had been holding on to something important while their mind was busy trying to let go. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because this growing awareness was leading them toward a discovery they never expected. Late one night, everything became clear for a brief moment. They realized that the truth they learned about you had done more than change their opinion. It had changed their future. Suddenly, possibilities they once rejected no longer seemed impossible. The distance between the past and the present felt smaller. The silence that once felt permanent no longer seemed guaranteed. And for the first time in a very long time, they allowed themselves to imagine what could happen if they stopped running from their feelings. That thought stayed with them long after the night ended. It followed them into the next day and the day after that. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because they are now approaching a realization so powerful that it could push them toward a decision they never believed they would make again. And when that moment arrives, everything may begin to move faster than either of you expected. What they did not expect was how quickly their emotions would begin taking control. The thoughts that once appeared only occasionally were now showing up every single day. No matter how hard they tried to focus on something else, their mind kept returning to the same place. It was no longer about curiosity. It was no longer about trying to understand the past. Something much deeper was happening. The truth they learned about you had awakened feelings they thought were gone forever. Feelings they had buried beneath logic, pride, and distance. But now those feelings were rising to the surface, stronger than ever. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because what they are about to realize next will completely change the direction of their journey. The most surprising part was that they could no longer deny the impact you had on their life. For so long, they convinced themselves that time had erased the connection. Yet now, every honest reflection led them to the same conclusion. You mattered more than they ever admitted. Not just in the past, but even now. The more they accepted that truth, the more they understood why moving on never felt complete. Something always seemed unfinished. Something always felt missing. They began noticing how often their heart returned to thoughts of what could have been. And with every passing day, those thoughts became harder to ignore. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because the realization forming inside them is growing stronger, and soon it will demand action instead of reflection. Then came a moment of complete honesty. A moment when they stopped hiding from themselves and finally faced the truth. They admitted that learning this hidden side of you had changed everything. The certainty that it was over had vanished. The emotional walls they built were falling apart. And for the first time, they found themselves wondering not whether they should reach out, but when. That single shift changed the entire story. Because once a person starts asking when, instead of if, the future begins to look very different. A decision is now taking shape inside their heart, quietly but powerfully. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because the choice they are moving toward is closer than ever before. And the next realization will give them the final piece they have been missing all along. Everything was leading to this moment, even though they did not realize it at the time. The questions, the memories, the unexpected truth they learned about you, all of it was preparing them for a realization they could no longer avoid. One day, while reflecting on everything that had happened, they suddenly understood something that sent a wave of emotion through their heart. The reason they could never completely forget you was not because they were stuck in the past. It was because a part of them had never truly stopped caring. That truth hit with incredible force. It explained the memories. It explained the emotions. It explained why every attempt to move on felt incomplete. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because this realization was not the end of the story. It was the beginning of something neither of you expected. As this understanding grew stronger, they began seeing the entire journey differently. Instead of focusing on mistakes, they started focusing on meaning. Instead of asking why things happened, they started asking what those experiences were trying to teach them. And the answer that kept appearing was always connected to you. The truth they discovered had removed a layer of misunderstanding that had existed for far too long. Now they could finally see what had been hidden behind it. They could see your intentions more clearly. They could see your value more clearly. Most importantly, they could see the connection more clearly. The more they accepted that truth, the more impossible it became to pretend that nothing had changed. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because what is happening inside their heart right now is far bigger than a simple memory. It is becoming a decision. And now they stand closer than ever to a turning point. The silence that once felt permanent is beginning to feel temporary. The distance that once seemed impossible is beginning to feel smaller. What started as a shocking discovery has transformed into a powerful awakening. They are no longer the person who was certain it was over. That version of them disappeared the moment they learned the truth about you. Now, a new question fills their mind every day. What happens if they follow their heart instead of their fear? That question is growing louder with each passing moment. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because the answer to that question is approaching faster than they realize. And when they finally act on what their heart has been telling them, the next chapter of this story may begin in a way that changes everything.